Hey everyone, Frugal Panda here. I just wanted to show me installing a rear rack on the RadMini. As many of you know, they've been out of the rear racks at different times for over the last couple of months since I've owned this bike. They did have the orange one in stock, but I didn't want to put the orange one on the black bike. Maybe look cool, I don't know. Anyway, I got the Onway Rear Rack, which is made for their e-bike, their folding fat tire e-bike. And Onway is a pretty decent company, I believe. I've never really heard anything bad about them. Anyway, it claims that it will fit a RadMini. So I decided, well, let's take them to task and try and install this on my RadMini version 4 e-bike. As you can see, I pulled out the battery, took off the seat. It makes it so much easier to remove the brake light off of it. It's 2 screws. Keep those 2 screws because you're going to use them again later on when you go to install the brake light on the rear of the Onway rear rack. Oh my gosh, tongue twister kind of. So hold on to those 2 bolts right there, 2 screws, and then you just take it off. Get you a little some scissors or something because there's a couple zip ties you need to cut off. And then there are I would recommend having you a couple of zip ties too that you'll use later on when you put it back together and you need to tighten up the cables, the brake light cables and stuff, and make it look a lot cleaner. Now, it was not that hard to install this. Actually, it was not hard at all. It was just I did it in one take. As you guys are seeing me record this, I'm actually doing it at the same time. So I made a few little mistakes here and there, nothing big, like putting something on backwards and then having to go back and fix it, but it took me another couple minutes, that's all. When you're putting the bolts in, like screwing the bolts in, take your time, make sure they're straight before you start screwing them in because it could be very easy. It can be easy to strip them out a little bit. I stripped the bolt a little bit, but got it back in and it tightened up real good. The quality of this rear rack is very good. It's just as good as the one on my electric XP. I can tell you that. It's sturdy, looks like it's going to hold real well. And like I said, it's an Onway. I've never heard anything bad about Onway. They're another budget bike, probably on the level of electric XP bike. And I almost bought one before. I think they're nice looking bikes, to be honest with you. But as you can see, when you put the bolts in and everything, leave them a little bit loose so you can adjust it a little bit here and there where you need to your liking, of course. And as you see me, it seems like I'm doing it really fast. I have it, I'm doubling the speed so we can get through this so it's not a 40-minute video. But like that, that's just how it goes. It's real easy, everyone. Even if you're not mechanically inclined, just take your time. You can put this on. It is not hard at all. I want to say it can hold 25 kilograms is what it says on the rear rack itself, which whatever that turns into with poundage. But like I said, it's just as sturdy as what's on the electric XP, just as sturdy. So don't worry about it. It is not cheap. Of course, once you get it adjusted and put together correctly and all that good stuff, then to tighten it up again just to make sure it's tight after you got the cables and everything set up on it. But then after you ride it the first time, I'd recommend going back and making sure everything's tight. Not stripping it type of tight. So you don't want to do it, over tighten it and like strip out the bolts and everything. But make sure it's good and it's tight. As you can see right here, it's real simple. And if you want to adjust it, you do the 2 bolts up by the rack itself that hold the little where your stoplight, your brake light used to go. You loosen them a little bit and you can move it back and forth. And you loosen the 2 bolts that at the bottom of the bracket. So it's basically the 2 bottom bolts, the lowest bolts, and the 2 bolts that go into your brake light. If you loosen both of those, or excuse me, not the ones that go into the brake light itself, but the ones that go up and connect it to the actual rack itself, you loosen both sides of that and both sides at the bottom bolts. It's easier to adjust it back and forth, and it makes it a lot easier to do that. So it's not really that big of a deal if it's kind of, say, crooked or it's too high in one spot or it slants down too much. It takes 2 or 3 minutes maybe to loosen those 4 actual bolts. Just loosen them, don't take them out, and then you can just move it back and forth and get it to where you like it. And then tighten it back up. Now, even after I did all this, I ended up going back and pushing it a little bit more forward in regards to it, because I thought it was out a little too far for me personally. So got a little bit further in, and then I actually just set it up and tightened it all together. As you can see right here, these two bolts right here, real easy. Don't over tighten them because they'll strip. And as you see, those two bolts right there, there's one on that side and there's one on the other side. If you loosen them on both sides, and then you loosen the lower ones all the way down where my right hand is down there on both sides, then you can move it back and forth real easy. It's no issue. So don't worry if you get it on and it's like, oh, it sits back too far or sits too far forward and it's slanted too much. Not a big deal. Just go back and you can do it real fast. It doesn't take long. Now, on the brake light right here, you see that bracket on the back? That's the bracket, the OEM bracket comes with the Rad Power Mini that holds it on to its initial spot it goes. So what you're going to want to do is go ahead and remove that bracket off of there. And it's not a big deal. Just two bolts. Two nuts. You just take off the nuts and you take it off, and it has two little built-in like screw right there, and then you just stick it right on where it goes, and then use those bolts again to tighten it right back on there, but with minus the bracket. No issues, no problems. You do not have to get any type of extension or anything in regards to the brake light cable, because the brake light cable itself is actually long enough, no issues with it. So once as you can see, now make sure you unhook it. And I recommend keep it unhooked. I hooked it back up for a minute. Keep it unhooked until you actually use the zip ties and zip the longer piece along the rear rack's frame. So, but that's basically it. You just put it right on there, no issues, and screw it in. So anyway, this was $62.99. I will put a link in the description for my Amazon link that will take you directly to what I use. And yes, it does fit a RadMini. There is no modifications you have to do. There is nothing you have to do. It comes with, I want to say it had another set of adapters that connected to the lower part of the RadMini, but didn't use them. I used the shorter ones. So the shorter ones in there are the ones that worked the best with it. But there was no modifications that needed to be done. It's basically just hook it up. The biggest modification, if you want to call that, is you take the brake light off, which you do with the other, with an OEM brake light from Rad Power too. But I can tell you for a fact, it fits with no issues. It's good quality. I'm very satisfied with it. It says 25 kilograms, I'm pretty sure, is the max on it. Whatever, I'm not sitting anybody on it. It's plenty. It works good. It looks good. Anyway, $62.99. I'll have that link in my description for the actual product itself. It's made in China, which all these bikes mostly are anyway, and their parts. So it's just about the quality of what factory it comes out of and how they build it. And I think this is a good build. They did a real good job with the rack. I'm curious about Onway bikes too. I'd love to review one of them or check one out, because I've looked at them before, the folding fat tires, because I was curious about them and see how well they hold up and what their quality's like. Anyway, everyone, I want to thank you for watching my videos. I really appreciate it, and I hope you're having a good day. And like I said, this is the Onway Rear Rack that works on a RadMini, everyone. Have a good day, and thanks for watching.